What's good, y'all? It's your boy Marvelous, and we are back with another video. Today we are watching how Noah Lyles took over and handled business and did exactly what he said he would, and we'll talk about why he really is the hope for the United States, along with Kenny Bednarik, to win the 100 and the 200. Obviously y'all should know that, but Noah has really started to solidify himself as the new 100-meter king. Let's talk about why. First and foremost though, I think this right here is the reason why a lot of people do not like this man. Who does this, bro? Before a race, just runs out there and just like yells at everybody. And I mean, to be honest though, that's one of the reasons why I like him. Everyone's so serious. Look at how serious everybody is. This man just ran out there. He's about to pull out a Yu-Gi-Oh card out of his back pocket. Like, he does the most weird things, but that's what makes him him. And the people that really don't worry about what everybody else thinks and they just do them, those are the people that end up being the most successful in life, because they're not worried about what everybody else thinks. They're just focused on what they think about themselves. And though I personally would not ever do anything like Noah does, I feel like we have to understand that it's not a bad thing that he is so like this, that he is so out there. He's representing the sport very well. He's bringing attention to track and field. So why wouldn't we support that? No matter what it looks like, there's got to be antics. You see the basketball interviews, you see the football interviews, you see these guys acting nuts on the field, doing celebrations and stuff, and we celebrate that. But then when we get a guy like this who actually brings fire to the sport and changes things, we beat him down so much that he has to really and truly, put out his best effort every time, and then also prove y'all wrong every time, just to solidify the fact that he can be himself. So let's appreciate it, although we know it's a little bit obnoxious. But yeah, in this race, we have a lot of guys that have gone 9-8 this season. Just in the prelims alone, you got 4 or 5 guys that went 9-8. There's a little bit of a false start or something that happened, but essentially you got Fred Curley, you got Kenny Bednarik, you got Noah Lyles, you got Christian Coleman, who I was cheering for, you got Brandon Hicklin, who's a guy I've never really heard of until this year. I'm sure that he's probably been on the scene. He's running 10-0 or 9-9, so I mean, he's pretty good. The high schooler versus the pros and guys that we know for sure. It was a great race. In general, Christian Coleman should have won this race. If he would have ran the race towards the end, the last 50, like he's been running his other races, he would have at least got second or third. But he broke down towards the end, the last 20, you saw it. As he felt the pressure from his right, he started to break down in his form, falling or letting his arms get wide. Instead of staying like what we've been seeing him do, he's been staying firm with his form, focused on his hips going down the track, not being pressured. He's done it against Omanyala. He's done it against all these other guys this year. But in this moment, I think he just really wanted to win and just kind of lost it a little bit. But Christian, he should have been going to the Olympics. Let's talk about why these guys were able to get him. Okay, why were these guys able to catch him at the end? Yes, we know that Christian started fast, and yeah, the other guys don't start as fast, but they save it towards the end. No, it's not that they're saving anything towards the end. The thing is that they cannot start as fast as Christian. It's just not their thing, right? But if we look at how they actually are able to use their top end speed, we'll see that it's very impressive. Number one, you have to be a high quality athlete to be able to catch somebody like Christian Coleman. I've trained with the man, so for him to get a super fast start alone should normally be enough to stay away from normal people who don't have the type of top end speed that Noah Lyles or Kenny Bednarik or Fred Curley have. Because you've seen nobody else caught Christian, only the top 3. Okay, what's the common denominator between these 3? Besides Brandon Hicklin, these 3 here are the tallest people in the field. Besides Brandon Hicklin, right? Alternatively, what else? These 3 people, their strength is what? The 200. So in the 200, what are they normally doing? Typically in the 200, after you come off the curve, your first 100, you're accelerating. You're accelerating off of the curve. into the straight, pretty much from 50 meters to 150, you're hitting it. And then the last 50, you're surviving. If you can speed up, if you can, cool. But most people aren't speeding up. They're just trying not to slow down fast. So these three, typically in the end of that 100 is when they're really starting to get going. And it's just natural for them that they're better at the 200 than they are the 100. Now you're seeing them having worked on their starts, having came back over and over in the off season to get their start to a point where they're not 10 meters behind Christian, they're only 5 meters behind Christian. And so now there's not as much room to make up. And so if they can let their top end speed take over, boom, if Christian makes any mistakes towards the end of his race, they're gonna catch him. And that's exactly what happened. Now, had Christian stayed calm and stayed firm in his form in terms of him not getting all over the place, but just staying composed, keeping his hips down the track, not going side to side with his arms, I really do believe he would have at least got third and beat out Fred Curley. Because Curley was late on kind of speeding up and had to edge him out at the line. This all goes to show you that there's more than one way to beat somebody, there's more than one way to win. Christian should have at least got third place, but he will obviously learn from this, and I really do believe that he is one of those people that could potentially run 9.69 or 9.7, because he's already run 9.7, but I believe that he is someone, along with Noah and now along with Kenny, and I really do believe Fred as well, are guys that could go 9.69 and maybe threaten the world record. I ain't saying they're gonna beat the world record anytime soon, because Bolt's world record is out there. 9.58 is out there. To get close, 9.6 something, it could definitely happen with these guys, especially if they work on their starts a little bit more. But yeah, let's just watch it through. Essentially, after they got out, Christian, he didn't make a 10-meter gap, he made a 5-meter gap. And then what ended up happening is they took over at the end, stayed composed, ran through the line. You can see that along with running through the line, it's a little bit more than that, right? It's the knees. The fact that they get more knee lift because they're used to running a little bit longer. They don't do as much shuffling. And like I say, this all comes to how you're swinging your arms, what position you are in hips wise at the end of the race. But as you can see, just in this picture alone, Kenny, knee, hip length. Noah, knee, hip length. If we stop the same picture for Christian, his knee is not hip length, it's just a little bit lower. Brandon Hickland is sitting down a little bit in his stance. You got Courtney Lindsay here, who is just barely taller than Christian, but not as tall as these guys, so not getting as much knee lift, though he ran 9.8 in the prelim, so I thought he was going to be a contender too. But you just see the position that these two guys are in. Look at the position. Fred is crazy because this man is heel striking in 100. Do you see this? But for him still to be able to power himself to 9.8 and make the Olympics, if he really gets in the proper position, he should be able to beat Noah and Kenny Bednarik on his best day, because this position is crazy. But even Fred, even though he's sitting in his stance a little bit, he's still getting more knee lift than others, right? So that just translates to, at the end of the race, more power at the end of the race, speeding up more, slowing down less than everybody else, and now he's going to the Olympics when it should have been Chris, right? So that's a simple breakdown for y'all. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen with the rivalry between Jamaicans and the U.S. at the Olympics. There's a lot of other guys, people from Italy and some people from like Omanyala from Kenya, who should be able to kind of contend with them too. So it's going to be real interesting. I hope y'all stay tuned. This summer, as we cover kind of some of the Olympic events, we're going to try to blend into some of the other funny events that I like to talk about too. But we'll keep coming back with as many videos as I can, and keep trying to send out love to the sport that I love, track and field, as much as the other stuff that I like to cover too. So we'll talk to y'all later. Peace. If you don't know me, my name is Fred Marvin Dorsey III. I ran track at University of Kentucky and ran slightly professionally, didn't have a contract, but ran against a good amount of competition, ran against pros, and really had a great time until kind of had to make a business decision for myself in terms of actually starting my family and everything like that. So now we're just making videos and enjoying life, coaching, and yeah, I like to break down these videos and kind of show you guys the why behind how these athletes are able to do what they do. A lot of people will say that a good athlete is a doper, or a good athlete is a cheater, or whatever, but to me, there's a lot more that goes behind an athlete, especially like this, or some of these guys that are in the field actually doing well and consistently doing well. And for you to be able to consistently do well and produce, especially when you're getting drug tested at these meets, knowing that you're not doing any drugs, you're actually putting in the hard work, I really think that y'all need to understand the why behind it, and how these athletes are able to do what they do.